Well, g'day, Max here again. Welcome back to the shop. So this week we'll continue with our repairs to the apron, and we'll try and get most of that knocked off if we can. Now, I had a comment on the last video. A guy had a lathe from the same manufacturer. I think it may have been an AL336, and he commented that some time ago he had to pull the apron off his one and he found quite a lot of casting sand in the bottom. So I've just actually had a look at mine and poked around one corner with a screwdriver, and yeah, I've got it in mine too a little bit. So I hadn't planned on stripping the apron, but seeing this and checking this on mine, I think I will, and give it all a good clean out. So we'll get into that. And well actually yesterday we had a good day up at the block on the tractor, a plate compactor. So we've completed all of the entrance turnaround area to where the new shop's going to be, and started stripping the grass for the earthworks for the slab. So we might get a bit of a shot of that one later on. We'll swing over and get into this apron. Okay, let's get our apron stripped down. As we mentioned before, I was poking down in the bottom here with a screwdriver. I don't know if you can see that. It's like possibly casting sand. Feels it's very gritty like sand, so that's the reason we're going to strip the box down to clean all that out. It wasn't my intention to strip it down, but we better. Just got to take note on a lot of these shafts. There's a spring and a ball detent just to hold the shafts in their position, so something we've got to be a bit careful of. There's the ball, just a little ball bearing. Yeah. Then we have an E-clip holding this one together. Just flick them out with a screwdriver. Just an E-clip. And these come out. Next one is our traverse gears. She's quite tight, that one. Actually, we'll go this way to crack it. That's him. So this is just a grub screw that'll be detented into the shaft, or there's a keyway there, so, and another circlet behind it. And my torch died. I'll go get my torch sorted out and bring you back. Okay, well, this cheap ass torch bit the dust. Never had a good run out of this style of torch. They always seem to clag out before the batteries even go flat. So I did actually drop this one the other day. So bring out the old mag light. I've had this for donkey's years and it has never failed me. So okay, we had a little circlip in there, so we've got that popped off out of its groove. Now the bearing for the hand wheel and shaft assembly further down, the support is stopping this gear sliding out, and that's stopping us pulling the shaft out, because there's a keyway we have to remove from the shaft. So we have to remove our hand wheel assembly. So looking at this, our hand wheel is held on by a roll pin. We'll get that tapped out. Oh, yep. Cool. Off with the hand wheel. Now it has our rotating dial there, so we'll leave that intact because there'll be a spring and a ball behind that to provide the friction for the dial, and it still enables it to be rotated. So we'll put that to one side. Now we have our bearing for the shaft, so that has to come out. It's actually the other end of this bearing internally that's stopping that gear from sliding across. So I've never ever gone this far into this box before. I've had it off once before. I've never had to pull it apart, so now that whole assembly should just head out that way. I'll have to give it a bit of a jigger with a there she comes. Okay, that's the gear for the traverse hand wheel. Now we take note of this one when we put it back together because it has the reference mark, the 0 line for the dial on the hand wheel. So that must go in the vertical position when we put that back together. Feels all good. And there's an O-ring seal inside that one to stop the oil leaking out. Okay, so now our gear slip that off its. So we slip the gear all the way forward. Then we've got this keyway to deal with inside, so we've got to pull this keyway out before we can pull the shaft out. Hopefully it's not too tight. There it goes. So our shaft will come out. The circlip. And our gear. So I'll just keep that slipped together just so we remember which way around everything goes. Now, as far as the rest of it, I think we'll pull this next one out too. That just has an E-clip. And another keyway. Stubborn keyway. Okay. It's got him. Well, that's an interesting point, that. Now this is the other end of the shaft we were talking about last week. We had a little bit of oil leaking out of this, and this is the one we're possibly going to make a cover plate over. Now, the bore in this has a hole drilled through. It's like a return hole going back to the oil level, and it also has a groove cut on the end of the shaft. Just there. So that allows the oil that comes through here, hits this groove, like sort of like a bit of a labyrinth type seal, and then goes down the drilling in the casting just here to return the oil. So we are still getting leakage, so we are still going to go ahead with our cover over there. So that goes with that. Now the feed lever, there's no reason whatsoever to pull that out. So I'll go ahead, I'll get all this casing washed out. There's a fair bit of crud down the bottom there, so let's swing you around, see if we can get a view of that. Okay, so looking inside the case, this is all the rubbish we need to get out. So we'll get that cleaned out and bring you back. Okay, we've done a preliminary clean on our box and got a lot of the crud out from inside, so we're at the stage now we've got to drill and tap 2 holes in the front for our cover plate. We have to drill and tap a 1/8 NPT plug in that approximate location there for our increased oil level, and we have to drill and tap a hole to remount our threading dial at the back there. So we'll start with the 2 here. So I've just got to find the centre of this hole, so all I've done is measured the diameter of the hole, halved it and come up, so we've got 7/16 top, 7/16 below. So we'll get a scriber, just scribe a line across there and across there. This is our Dudley Toolright scriber. Got a nice point on this one. It could even be a carbide tipped one, I think. Now our increased oil level hole, we're going to go to the top of this shaft, and we're just going to go an approximate location in between the base for this lever and the shaft here, and also feeling for obstructions inside, so there's nothing we're going to interfere with inside. So if we go probably right there, be fine for that one. So as far as centres on this one, we'll go 1.5 inch centres. using our Dudley Toolrite ruler too. It's a good ruler, these. Precision number 234. Okay, little centre pop. We'll get our end marked for the threading dial, and we'll pop over to the mill and drill and tap these holes. Okay, so we're over at the mill. We'll get set up to drill the holes on this side. So the part has to be clamped down like that, which isn't a problem. Now we do have these features sticking out. We don't have a flat surface anywhere there to clamp, but we do have this machine surface here, which should be parallel with all these bores and the front face. So to overcome that, we use our 1, 2, 3 blocks. We should be able to set our 1, 2, 3 blocks in like that, and that will allow us to clamp this down in that other direction. And underneath there, we'll just pop that up either with a parallel and a large parallel and an adjustable parallel, or if we can get one of the Starrett machinist jacks under there, we'll use that. So we'll get it clamped up. Okay, we're clamped in position, so we have our 1, 2, 3 blocks under the machine surface where the half nuts are mounted, and just a couple of strap clamps, and we have a Starrett machinist jack just supporting the other end. Now there's no need for a clamp up this end, as there's no side thrusting or anything going on. We're only drilling a couple of holes. So we're on centre location there for this hole. So we just have our centre finder. We'll just pick the hole up with that. So we'll get a drill in. We'll start drilling and tapping. Okay, we're just tapping our hole M6 by 1 for the thread chaser dial. It actually works out better on this end of the apron because it's a thread that gets quite a lot of use, and we're tapping into a lot thicker material here than the original one was on the other end. So originally it feels like probably about 10 mil, 7/16, ish. Feeling this feels we're more towards the 9/16, 5/8 sort of thickness there. So we've got a lot more length of thread in there. So that'll make that one better. Okay, that's all our drilling and tapping complete. So our next operation, we'll make the cover plate, get this cleaned out and reassembled. Play the song on the radio, Country Road. That's Tom over at Hilltop Machine Works. I think that's over his neck of the woods there. So we have a piece of scrap aluminium here. So we'll cut our cover up out of this. One of my favourite tools. Not. Okay. And I just keep wiping my files with a rag to get the little pinned bit of parts out of them, the aluminium. Now to do the radius, to file a proper radius, show you end on. You actually file in an opposite direction. So we're going to put a radius on the top here. There's different methods. Well, there isn't really. There's different methods involved using a guide piece in here. If you want to rough it out, you can try and go across like that, but file a proper radius. Just work out where you're going to be. Straight strokes. File opposite the radius. Turn the file over because it's aluminium, they pin up. Okay, you got a nice corner, oh it's a bit hard to see, nice corner radius. We'll just work our way around the block like that. Then we'll clean up the face. We might do something a bit special on one of these faces, eh?